Hi, welcome again. In this video we're going to talk about linked lists, which are a way to represent lists in a different format, such that we can have efficient queues and stacks and many other data structures. So, what's a linked list? It's a concept that uses data structures that are called nodes, which store a single element of data, and then they have a pointer to the next element. So in this case, this is a class that will contain two parameters, two instance variables. One would be the data element, and the second would be another node, which is a pointer itself to the next one, and so on and so forth until we reach the end, and then that node will be none, representing the end of the list. In contrast to a standard list, it uses more memory, but it can be constructed in such a way that queues are efficient to implement and efficient to operate. So let's see how we can remove elements in both cases. With a standard list, when we have three elements and we want to remove the first one, we first need to remove this and then move all elements one space to the left. This means that if we have 10 elements, we need to perform 10 move operations, but if we have 10,000 elements, we would need to move 10,000 move operations. Instead, if we use a linked list, we would have the linked list pointing to the first element of the list, and then the first to the second, and the second to the third, and the third to none. If we want to remove the first element, we just need to point the linked list to the second element, as shown here. Because this element is now an orphan, the garbage collector will delete it, and our linked list is now 2 and 3. And we only need to perform one operation, regardless of the length of the list. So let's see how we would implement a stack with a linked list. We have first to define a node class to represent the nodes themselves in the linked list. We have a constructor that takes two arguments. First, the value of the node, so 1, 2, 3, the data itself, and the next node in this sequence. And by default, this next node is going to be none. So it represents the last element in the list. We will store both of these in hidden instance variables, and we will write getters and setters to obtain their values. Now let's implement the actual stack. We will call it the linked stack. First, the constructor. We just need a head node, because now the stack will not contain the full list, but just a reference to the first element, which will contain a reference to the second one, and so on and so forth. Initially, this list is empty, so the head node is none. If we want to push an element to the stack, we just need to create a new node with the value and the current head. Why? Because we are inserting elements at the beginning of the stack. So we're replacing the current first element by a new element and making this element point to the previous first element. Checking whether a stack is empty is very simple, just checking whether the head parameter, the head instance variable is none. And checking for the top element is also very simple. In this case, we're going to raise an exception called an index error exception, where if the stack is empty, and so we cannot check the top element. And otherwise, we'll just call the method getValue from the head parameter, and that will give us the value that is being stored at the head or at the top of this stack. Finally, the pop operation has a similar check. For when it's empty, it will raise an error saying you cannot pop from an empty stack. And otherwise, we will get the value, then we will delete the element itself with this assignment. I'll show you an example in the next slide. And finally, we'll return the value such that the user can make use of it whenever they want. So let's see an example. First, we create a linked stack object and we check whether it's empty. And of course it is, because it's pointing to nowhere. This would be the linked list and this would be the nodes. Now we can push an element. Because it's the first element, this head will point to the new element, and this new element will point to the previous head, which was none. Again, if we push B, we would insert a new node. The head would point to the new node, and the new node would point to the previous head, which was A, and which itself points to none. And so on and so forth. If we insert C, C would point to B, and the head would point to the new element, C. Now when we want to remove an element, we just perform the operation head equals head.next, or .getNext, as you saw here. Head is equal to head.getNext. Why? Because head.getNext gives us this arrow, which points to B, and head was this value, which now points to B. And now the garbage collector will remove this element, and we will return C as the value. And as we can see here in the output, if we add all three elements and compute the top element, we can see that it's C. And if we remove it, print it, and compute the new top, we can see that we've removed C, and the new top is B. Let's see now a more difficult approach for the queue. As you recall, in the linear presentation, we saw that queues could not be made efficient just by using Python lists. So let's check and see whether by using Python linked lists, we can perform an efficient queue operation. So the first methods are very simple and very similar to those of the stack. First, we define an attribute called head, and we initialize it to none because the list is empty. And to add new elements, we just add them to the head of the queue, as we did with the stack. The isEmpty check is very similar to that of the stack. And then we get to the more complicated part. To dequeue an element, we need to go to the last element, right? But to go to the last element, we need to iterate over the list and go one by one, checking each of the elements until we find the one whose next element is none. So let's see it as instruction by instruction. First, we perform the check to see whether there's any element to actually dequeue, and otherwise we raise an exception. And then we define two variables called previous and I, which will be the previous node and the current node. The current node is the head, and the previous node is empty for now. And then on each iteration, until the next element is none, we swap I, we move I to the previous one, and I.next to I. So we advance both pointers one by one. If we've reached the end and the previous is none, it means that there are no elements in the queue. But otherwise, we can see that previous.secNext is equal to none. So we set the next element to none, and we remove the element from the queue. And finally, we return this value to the user. Let's see an example. It will be much simpler with it. So if we create a new linked list queue 1, that's a hint that this will not be the most efficient version, we can print whether it's empty, and we can enqueue elements. Enqueuing elements works very similar to the stack, as we saw. Each element is added to the head of this linked list, and we can see that the data structure goes from A to BA to CBA. But if we want to dequeue an element, then we have to traverse the list with these I and pref pointers. So if we start with C, we check whether its next element is none, and it's not, so we advance both. Previous becomes what was I, so C, and I becomes the next element, B. Again, we check whether it is its next element is empty, and it's not, so we advance it again, and I becomes A, and previous becomes B. Now the next element is none, so we extract the value from A, and we make B's next attribute point to none, breaking this connection from B to A, and thus destroying this node, which will be collected by the garbage collector. This is not optimal, as we need to iterate over the list itself. So let's see if we can implement it in a different way to make it more efficient. So Let's start by implementing the dequeue operation. All other operations are very similar. Let's start with the dequeue operation. So if we, instead of adding elements to the front, we add them to the back and we remove them from the front of the list, removing elements is very, very simple. We just check whether we have an element to remove and then obtain the head of the list, get the value, and then remove the head and return the value. Very simple, very efficient. However, if we want to enqueue an element, then we have to add it to the end of the queue. And so if it's empty, it's very simple because there are no elements. But if there are elements, we need to go with a while going next and next and next to the last element and then add it over there. And that's not efficient, as we need to perform as many operations as there are lists, elements in the queue. So let's see it with an example. If we enqueue an element and the list is empty, then we just add it. So if we enqueue to an empty list, we obtain this list in a single operation. But if we want to enqueue a second element, then we need to point to the first element, see that it is none, and then add it at the end. And if we have more elements, this becomes more and more complicated time-wise. So we point to the first element, see that it's not the last one because it's not pointed to none, and then we point to the second element, and only then we can see that it is pointing to none and add the element at the end. The advantage here is that the dequeue operation is very cheap, as we only need to move the head over to the second element, skipping the first one and leaving it to the garbage collector to destroy. So in this solution, enqueue has a linear cost, but in the previous solution, dequeue had a linear cost. Is there any way such that we can have a constant cost so that the cost of the enqueue and dequeue is very, very cheap? There is, but we have to complicate a bit more our implementation. So before we had a head parameter, and now we're going to have a head parameter and a last parameter. Sorry, not parameter, but instance variable. So head is going to point to the first element in our linked list, and last is going to point to the last element in our linked list. And with both, we're going to construct an efficient queue. We're going to also add a size instance variable such that we can check whether there are elements or not and how many there are. But this is just a convenience. It's not strictly required for this example. The isEmpty check is now much easier, as we just check the size of the class and compare it against 0. If we want to add a new element, it is very simple, as we can access the head and we can add new elements to the head of the queue. If it's empty, we just create a new node and add it to the head. Otherwise, we add it at the end of the queue. And now we set the next node we set that the last node, we set its next node to the new node. And then we update the last attribute such that it's now the new last node. And of course, we upgrade the size by 1. The dequeue operation is similar, as we edit just the head and we add it we remove from the beginning of the queue. We first check whether it's empty, and then we store the value of the current head in a variable such that we can return it later. Then we remove the first element in the queue, as was customary. We update the head to point to the next element after the current head. And we need to add an extra check. Why? Because if this was the last element and the head is now empty, then the last element needs to be updated such that it is now none, as the list is empty. And finally, of course, we need to remove one element from the size, as we have removed one element from the queue itself. Let's see it in action. So if we create an object from our class linkedQueue3, we create 2 pointers. The first one will be the head of the list, and the second one will be the last element of the list. When we enqueue an element, for example A, we update both the first element and the last element, because this was the first new object of the queue. And A itself points to no element because it's the last one. Again, if we enqueue a new object, first the head is not altered, so it still points to A points to B, and the last element should be updated to point to the new last element, which is B. A similar thing happens with C, and notice here how even if we have 2 elements, or 10 or 10,000 elements, the time it takes to add a new element to enqueue it doesn't change. So first we add a new element and we make B point to the new element, and then we update the last pointer and make it point to C. Of course, dequeuing is very, very easy. We just need to move this pointer that pointed from the head to A to the next element, which happens to be B. And then the garbage collector will destroy this object. With this, we have created an efficient queue implementation that can both add and remove elements with a very simple operation that does not depend on the number of elements currently in the queue. And that is all. I'll see you on the next video.